I'm a politician. There's nothing dirty about the term. It's those who've carried it that have sullied it, but I'm a politician.
I was born and raised in Philadelphia, 1957. I came to Omaha, Nebraska, June of 22. And I got here and I met a gentleman by the name of Johnny, a very nice brother, and we were just talking about the politics, a lot of stuff was going on, and I wanted to know who was the most political person he knew in Omaha. And the name Senator Ernie Chambers came out of his mouth. So I said, who's that? He said, Kwanzaa, you got to study. So I go online. When I found out who he was, I was shocked that he was here in Omaha, still alive, and he had been the longest standing senator in that racist Senate in Nebraska. 40-some years he was there fighting to change the situation here in Omaha, Nebraska.
I came to Lincoln, I moved to Lincoln about 2 years after he was in the legislature. I was actively involved in labor unions, IBEW and CWA. If there were things that we wanted in terms of legislation or just, you know, to make things right, we would get anybody involved, and Senator Chambers was probably one of the most powerful legislators there was.
He had a lot to do with the disinvestment of South Africa.
There was some old racist who gave some Krugerrands to the University of Nebraska to either build or improve an engineering school. I said the university should not accept these, and the students said the same thing.
Before you know it, spread all across America that they had to disinvest in South Africa. Ernie Chambers pulled this off right here in a little small Omaha.
For me, Ernie has always meant, you know, the man that was standing for our community when nobody else was. He was a man that, when you heard his name, that came with strength, that came with power, and he laid a foundation for 40+ years that nobody could replace or erase what he did in the state of Nebraska.
Senator Chambers was one of the remaining community members left who had actually had the chance to meet Malcolm face to face in 1964 when Malcolm came back to Omaha, Nebraska to speak. It didn't matter that they just met each other. They had similar goals and similar mindsets.
After his speech, which was just magnificent, he invited us upstairs, you know. So we all went up there. There was about 25 people in the room. And Ernie and Malcolm, so to speak, you might say, held court. And they'd never seen each other before. And man, it was something to behold. When Ernie spoke, except for the tone of voice, and Malcolm spoke, except for the tone of voice, it's just like neither one had ever even stopped talking.
Everybody wants money. So I say in the same way that they pay academic students for being various flunkies on the campus, they work in this office, work in that office, cover for a professor who doesn't want to do his job, they get paid for it, then pay the athletes.
I've known Ernie since I was about 9, 10 years old. He was my first barber, him and Dan Goodman at the barber shop. And he and I both advocated all the time for pay for play. We did not believe that athletes should not get paid because all the revenue that they were raising, the universities or owners or different people that were getting all the money, it was modern day slavery that was really going on. And he and I both together at many times and separate always promoted pay for play. Until now it's come to the point where the guys are getting the NIL money, they're getting their fair share.
I asked him one question. I said, why do you think the situation is like it is here, Mr. Chambers? He said, Kwanzaa, you ain't been here a year and you see it already. I said, well, why didn't you see it? They grew up, born, raised it. He said, they're afraid.
A computer-generated picture was sent to me with 2 pistols pointing and the threat against me, all the racial slurs, all of them. And I saw that the postmark was Norfolk, Nebraska. So I notified, and the media printed a story that I was going to go out there and visit. I put a red bullseye on the shirt so that they'd know who they're after And I even gave them a target if they wanted it. And I still have that shirt to let them know words are not going to defeat me.
For me, he's just always been an inspiration and a hero and somebody I looked to for, guidance when I was coming up, and just even when I was considering running for the legislature, just listening to him on the floor and just seeing how he held his own and stood up for our community. So for me, it's just all that.
Ernie would stay on it, and no matter whether people agreed with him or not, and what he really believed in, and he made a difference.
Senator Chambers was one of those Omahans that I highlighted and researched, and just a fascinating person, and the way his mind works is something of beauty.
Senator Chambers is the only living person that has a room in the Capitol named for him. Senator Chambers is a savant. He can sing, he can play the piano, he can paint, he can write. Seriously, there is very little that Senator Chambers has not been able to do over time. And you can tell I'm a fan of his, and I am.
I love him, and he deserved it. If you ask me what do I think about that, he deserved that reward. There's no doubt in my mind. So when it go down to the archive and he goes see the higher power, it would be written at the stone, wherever they put it at. That would be another one of his accolades he closed out with. The Malcolm X 100th anniversary celebration, legacy award.
Usually we give away awards for our community luncheon. We recognize folks doing great work. But this year I just wanted to give away 2 awards. That's it. So the first is going to be Mr. Ernie Chambers. He exemplifies the leadership that Malcolm X led with. He is not able to be present, but he was very excited, and I heard he doesn't normally go to award shows, but he was going to come to this one. So I'm grateful for that. He wrote a letter instead, and I wanted Felicia to read those words.
Joanna, excuse the delay in notifying you. I've waited till the last minute to see if conditions might change so that I possibly could attend the event. You're free to use any of these remarks as you see fit. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I am unable to be there on this glorious occasion, especially because of the participation of Dr. Chavez. The occasion is glorious because its purpose is to pay well-deserved homage to the band Ozzie Davis in a famous funeral eulogy hailed as our shining prince. Brother Malcolm was truly a man among men who did not flinch in the presence of threats when his life literally was at stake and ultimately snuffed out by gunfire while delivering a speech to his black brothers and sisters. Let me turn a corner. A Chinese proverb says a picture says more than 1,000 words. And in the case of Brother Malcolm, one song properly vocalized expresses more feeling and elicits deeper emotion than 100 symphonies. The one song, rendered by Roberta Flack, who was summoned from Earth on February 4th because of the angelic choir needed a dash of real soul, moves me whenever I hear it to dream the impossible dream. Y'all know that song? All right. And she hits the part, a man scorned and covered with scars, still strode with his last ounce of courage. I get goosebumps. Brother Malcolm laid down his life for us. Amen. It is a high honor to be on the same program with his daughter, not intending in any manner to minimize the hard work, determination, and sheer grit and intelligence exemplified by the title doctor and not honorary. I conclude with this heartfelt sentiment. My sister, you are a credit to your parents, a credit to our race, a living inspiration of a little black girl whose credo, based on your example, will be, I am striving hard to make 100, 99 and a half won't do it. And to all labor so long and to bring out about and give reality to Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, sisters and brothers, I salute you. Ernie Chambers.